I am Stephen Cabral, board certified naturopathic doctor. I've been going on a lot of interviews lately, and the question that keeps coming up is how do we get rid of inflammation? How do we squelch it? How do we get rid of all those things like joint pain and, muscle pain, fatigue, brain fog, everything that comes along with this thing called inflammation? And this is because inflammation is literally correlated with almost every disease known to man. But the problem is this, is that inflammation is not something that needs to be squelched. It's not something that really needs to be treated at all. And when I say that on other podcasts or video interviews, whatever it is, a lot of times the host or the audience doesn't really know what I'm talking about. And that's because we've been taught that inflammation is something that we need to knock down. But what I tell people is this is what I share, is that inflammation is not a root cause. It's not an underlying root balance. Inflammation is still a symptom. Inflammation is a symptom that something else below it is going wrong, which is causing that inflammation in the first place. So what I do in my practice is this. I always look for the underlying root cause. And that means that as we start to peel back the onion, we keep going layer by layer by layer until we get to the core. And we figure out what's causing the inflammation that then is causing the disease. Because we know if we have inflammation, it could cause cardiovascular-based issues, it could cause high blood pressure, it could cause diabetes, it could cause weight gain, it could cause hormone imbalance, it could cause migraines, it could cause any of these things. So what I need to do is not say, okay, let's just push down the inflammation. Let's use, we could use an ibuprofen or an NSAID, right? But that's not what we do in natural medicine. But a lot of times what a natural practitioner will do is they'll use turmeric. They'll use boswellia. They'll use other things that will modulate inflammation. And although those are great and I use them in my practice, I want you to know that those are still palliative. They're still trying to knock down symptoms. What I say is this, we'll use those in the short term, but what we really need to do is figure out what's causing that inflammation. How do we figure that out? Well, we can do lab testing. We can do something called functional medicine lab testing. This is very different than blood work. Blood work shows you what your levels are in the body. Blood work is what's called a homeostatic fluid. It means that if your blood is off, something's really wrong because your blood will steal from your bones, it will steal from your muscle tissue, it will make sure that it's perfect, okay? But what we can look at is the subclinical levels. That means before you reach a disease state or a dis-ease state, as I like to say, you're gonna have issues with free hormones, right? So we can do a hormone test. We can also look at your omega-3 counts. The omega-6 to omega-3 test is one of those big overlooked things, like should you take fish oil or not? Well, you can actually test that. And you can look to see what are your omega-6s versus your omega-3s. A great test. I will link up everything today below the video. But there are many, many more, meaning that inflammation a lot of times comes from the gut. You could have food sensitivities, healthy foods, right? In my practice, we test for 94 healthy foods. We look at when you eat these foods, is it causing an immune-based response? And that means as your body looks at these healthy foods, maybe like kidney beans, that was one of my food sensitivities I never knew that I had. Almonds as well. Every time I ate almonds, even raw almonds, my body would actually get an immune response, which would cause inflammation around my gut. Now my gut is 28 feet long and yours is as well. So that's a lot of inflammation that can happen to the body. And then here's the other thing. The signals from your gut to your brain starts to make you feel more anxiety. You feel overwhelmed, you feel low mood, and you don't know why. And a lot of times that can come from not only food sensitivities, but candida overgrowth. It can come from bacterial overgrowth, parasites, H. pylori. And again, you can test for those things like on an organic acids test. Food sensitivity, a simple at-home food sensitivity test. I will link those up today. So that's one option to look at where the inflammation is coming from. The other thing you can do that will help dramatically reduce your inflammation, not only in the short term, literally within a week, but also in the long term, is decreasing your toxicity. One thing we do is something I call the Dr. Cabral Detox. What it is a specific plan that increases something called autophagy. Now you don't need to know what that means, but literally it won the Nobel Prize in medicine just a year ago. It helps you decrease cancer cells in the body. It helps lower inflammation, help to better balance healthy levels of inflammation and hormones in the body. So what is it? Well, it's a specific nutrition plan called an elimination diet plan with herbal-based products and other things that help the liver just do its job better. That's really it is. If your body has a cleaner filter, it picks up more of these toxins, which then create inflammation in the body. I will link that up today as well. You don't need to purchase it, but I at least want you to know what it looks like. And then you can either work with your own local functional medicine doctor, you can work with us, and you can figure out how to truly get at the underlying root causes that are causing your inflammation. Because remember, if you're always treating the symptoms, you're never going to get well. And I want you to get well. I really look forward to hearing your success stories soon. And as always, please reach out to us. Reach out to my team, reach out to myself. Let me know how we can help.